international partners. We have a Canadian Space Agency astronaut that's on board this mission. We are carrying a lot of CubeSats from our Artemis Accords partners, and we are going to continue to do this going forward. JAXA is contributing a pressurized rover, a major contribution to our efforts of having an enduring presence on the lunar surface itself. The Italian Space Agency, just a few days ago, we signed a memorandum of understanding for a habitation module on the surface of the moon, a component of the moon base. And to be honest, it was also a key component to the ignition event from last week. Half of the Artemis Accord partners were present. We spent a good portion of the second day talking together, recognizing that some of our partners can make contributions like a pressurized rover or a habitation module, and many others are going to work with their academic institutions and universities for science instruments that could wind up on the phase 1 component to the moon base itself. So, or interesting tech demonstrations. This is something that NASA is extremely proud of, and will continue to do so as we continue to press forward under this program. So.
We're going to do last question here. I'm going to go over to you in the back.
It's Paul Brinkman, Aerospace America. Can you just talk a little bit about the propellant loading this morning? Was it flawless? Were there any leaks detected? Was it a repeat of the wet dress rehearsal? Did you learn anything?
Yeah, go ahead.
I think it went extremely well. What I heard this morning, and Amit may have an update from later, but some of the leaks that we'd seen of the hydrogen during the tanking for the hydrogen, we saw leaks below 1%, which was significantly lower. Again, the seals that we replaced seemed to perform extremely well. We did a pressure test kind of partway through, and the leak went up to about 1.4%. Still, well within the constraints, which 16% is the bound that we have. So I think it performed extremely well. We actually, I think, finished the tanking early, from what I understood. So I think it went extremely well. So again, the seals that we had replaced out at the pad after wet dress number 1, I think that was proved to be very successful.
And with that, thank you all for coming out and covering humanity's return to the moon. Stay tuned for updates on NASA's social channels, including our continuous coverage on YouTube and NASA Plus. Go Artemis.
Thank you.
This is Mission Control Houston. Thanks for coming back to us. We are here in the Artemis II flight control room, the White Flight Control Room here in Mission Control Center in Houston, Texas, following along with the mission and 4 Artemis II crew members who are making their way to the moon. For those coming that were joining on the press conference, we'll do a quick recap of some of the activities that happened over the course of the hour that happened during the press conference. We did have a successful thermal roll ahead of executing the apogee raise burn. The apogee raise burn occurred with an updated time of MET 1 hour, 46 minutes, and 7 seconds. The duration of the burn was 18 minutes and 6 seconds. At this time, the flight dynamics officer confirms that it was a good burn, so they are on a good trajectory for staying in high Earth orbit for the remainder of this flight day and into next. The high Earth orbit puts them into a 43,730 by 0 statute mile orbit, which orbits the Earth approximately once a day. It's a 23.5-hour orbit.
Checking.
At this point, the crew is working through a number of steps to prepare for their first day in orbit, their first night. They have a number of activities coming up, including the proximity operations demonstration, where Integrity will separate from the second stage.
Integrity, those PCDs are located in Foxtrot 3 large. Integrity, good. String 1, helium clearing.
Integrity copies. And stand in the docking camera checkout, step 9. Would you like me to go ahead and configure for our pod at this time?
Checking.
Continuing the recap, starting with the current discussion where Integrity is now beginning a thermal roll.
And Integrity for docking cam, yes, please configure for our pod.
Copy.
Mission Specialist Christina Cook is setting up the docking camera ahead of the proximity operations demo for later today. Right now, the crew is in the middle of executing a thermal roll. This procedure allows for more even distribution of heating on the interim cryogenic propulsion stage, as well as the Integrity spacecraft. NASA astronaut Christina Cook is also working through troubleshooting steps of the waste management system that's aboard the Integrity spacecraft. The toilet fan is reported to be jammed. Now the ground teams are coming up with instructions on how to get into the fan and clear that area to revive the toilet for the mission. In the meantime, they're getting their contingency, their backup waste management capabilities, specifically for urine. The fecal collection of the toilet, that specific capability can still be used with the waste management system aboard Orion. At this time, here in the Artemis II flight control room, we're beginning the first handover of the mission. The ascent teams, led by Flight Director Judd Freeling, are handing over to the Orbit 1 shift. You can see Flight Director Jeff Radigan to the left of Freeling. Right now, he is the one conducting the handover with his team, getting a read on all of the activities they have upcoming for the rest of the day. Namely, the one in the near term is a proximity operations demonstration. We are also anticipating a crossover of the tracking and data relay satellites.
Integrity Houston for GNC. System is still performing nominally, but we are updating unfiltered and BFS with channel 1 again.
Integrity copies.
That call from Capcom Stan Love addressing the guidance, navigation, and control system navigation source, specifically Channel 1. Now, as part of handover to Flight Director Jeff Radigan to begin the Orbit 1 shift on Flight Day 1, they're preparing for the proximity operations demonstration. Ahead of that, there's an expected handover from the tracking and data relay satellites to the Deep Space Network. The successful execution of the apogee raise burn puts the crew in the high Earth orbit, which will take Integrity and its crew far from Earth, with the apogee being upwards of more than 43,000 miles. With the geosynchronous TDRS satellite network in a geosynchronous positioning around 23,000 miles, the crew of Integrity will pass the near-Earth network. With that, expected a little less than 24 minutes from now will be a transition from the TDRS to the Deep Space Network. The data rates gathered from the Deep Space Network may allow us to hop on board and get some first preliminary views of the crew prior to them needing to prioritize the proximity operations demonstration. We'll take a pause here and listen for some Orion to Earth communications as the team goes through their handover procedures, so we can listen in on the next steps for the Orbit 1 team.
Integrity Houston, about halfway through the eclipse, we're seeing all of our power predicts right on. Thank you for the help with the power down.
Integrity copies.
This is Mission Control Houston. Quick update on what you're seeing. This is this display is brought up onto the front screen by the control officer here in Mission Control Houston. It's called the Ascent PFD and is available at the first phases of flight. It includes toggled settings between tanking, the ascent phase on the core stage, and now the ICPS phase. As you can note from the display here, we're in a post-apogee raise burn coast. Right now the attitude for integrity is...
Integrity Houston, 1 minute to string 2 helium clearing. Also, your PCL Rev 1 HEO deorbit burn plan is on board. That's in slot 2. The name is HEO D/O Rev 1.
Copy helium clearing, and we see the burn plan. Thanks.
Outstanding. And integrity, 2 minutes to thermal roll.
Copy.
Integrity, good. String 2 helium clearing.
Integrity copies, and I've got some AGA readings for you, Stan, when you're ready.
Jeremy, also thermal roll is complete. Jeremy, go ahead with your AGA numbers.
Okay, Stan, everything is off scale low, and then CO2 is 3.7, O2 is 18.5, temperature 70.3, and pressure is 14.65.
We copy all those numbers. Thank you. Integrity Houston for docking camera with an action on the DU.
Go.
For the docking cam, we see exposure set to 1 instead of 3. We think that'll be too dark. You can set that back to 3 on rpod.doccam, edge key L4.
Copy. Thank you.
This is Mission Control Houston. The Ascent and Orbit 1 teams have completed their handover. Flight Director Judd Freeling sent some parting farewell words to the teams here, congratulating them on the milestone of getting the 4-member crew of Artemis II where they are now, at a mission elapsed time of 2 hours and 45 minutes.
Integrity, thermal roll complete.
Integrity copies.
The Integrity crew working through their procedures. You heard thermal roll complete to allow for even heating on the outside of the spacecraft. We'll do this periodically throughout the flight. Right now, the teams here have, like I said, have successfully handed over. You've been hearing the voice of Capcom Stan Love for the Ascent shift. He'll be handing over to Capcom Amy Dill and Capcom and NASA astronaut Raja Chari. You'll hear their voices for the Orbit 1 shift and the beginning of proximity operations demonstration. From here, Mission Control Houston, that will conclude the Ascent shift. We'll hand over here at the PAO console to your Orbit 1 commentator, Leah Cheshire Mustachio. She'll take you through the proximity operations and some of the activities that lead to the end of the cruise day and the beginning of their sleep period. That's it for the Ascent team. This is Mission Control Houston. Stand by as we allow a few minutes to reconfigure the PAO console and provide 24/7 commentary.
Integrity Houston, com check on Peltor. Houston Integrity, com check on Peltor.
Hello, Christina. You're coming in louder. How me?
Amy, great to hear your voice. I have you the same. Good to hear that our Peltor is a little louder than the mic stub.
We copy. Integrity Houston, 5 minutes to DSN handover.
Integrity.
Integrity Houston, ICPS blowdown in progress. Integrity Houston, voice check on DSN.
Houston, Integrity has you loud and clear on DSN.
And we have you loud and clear as well, and while we were handing over, ICPS was in blowdown.
Copy all, and we have 2 GNC cautions on the board for right RHC. Let us know if you see them.
Copy, Christina. We're seeing the same. We think we might have a channel failure. We are taking a look. Integrity Houston for camera streaming.
Go ahead.
All right, we are ready to join you on board if you're ready for us.
Houston. We are ready for you to come on board.
Copy. We'll let you know when we join you.
For the first time since they arrived in space, you're looking at a live view of the Artemis II crew in the Orion spacecraft. The crew inside Orion is continuing to configure the cabin and prepare for the upcoming proximity operations demonstration, which we expect to start shortly. And as you can see, it's pretty dim in the cabin right now. The lights are dimmed as the vehicle is in an eclipse.
And Integrity Houston, we have joined you on board. It is a little bit dark from our view, so you are free to turn up the lights for a hello.
All right, Houston, I just want a quick comm check. Can you hear this transmission?
Loud and clear, Reed.
All right, Amy, welcome on board the Integrity spacecraft. We got, right now, myself and Christina are in seats 1 and 2, getting ready for rendezvous and proxops demonstration. Victor's just finishing up getting out of suits and getting suit drying going, and Jeremy is hard at work in cabin configuration. It was an amazing ride uphill. The views, we've got 2 moon rises that we've had so far, and the views of planet Earth. We've circled it completely, and we forgot how beautiful it is to look down on Earth.
Wonderful, Reed. It's spectacular to see you all, and so far so good with the day.
April and Amy, thanks for welcoming the world on board Integrity, and we're looking forward to a good rendezvous and prox operations here in a few minutes.
And on that note, Reed, we have the proxops pad whenever you're ready to copy.
If you can give us about 2 minutes, we'll be ready to copy.
Standing by.
Welcome to the Artemis Flight Control Room. I'm NASA's Leah Cheshire Mustachio, and I'm excited to be your Orbit 1 commentator. We're hearing some comms from the crew as they are preparing for their proximity operations demonstration. And we have just had, for the first time in over 50 years, humans join the Deep Space Network. Now, we're used to people being on the Near Space Network, the Tracking Data Relay Satellite System with the International Space Station. But again, first time in 50 years that we will have crew traveling far enough to be on that Deep Space Network. These are our first views of the...
Integrity, we are ready for ProxOps pad.
Integrity, all times MET. ICPS maneuver to SEP, attitude. 3 hours, 18 minutes, 34 seconds. ICPS SEP, 3 hours, 22 minutes, 24 seconds. ICPS thermal turn, 4 hours, 03 minutes, 34 seconds. Depart no later than 4 hours, 30 minutes, 37 seconds. USS-2 TIG, 4 hours, 50 minutes, 07 seconds. Mandatory burn. ICPS disposal burn, 5 hours, 00 minutes, 11 seconds. How copy?
Okay, Amy, we copy all, and we are hopping over to 13.1.100 ProxOps FTO, and confirm you hear this transmitter loud and clear.
Confirmed loud and clear.
Mission Control Houston just polled go for the ProxOps demo. And the crew aboard Orion is starting to get into the configuration for that demo. Another live view here in Artemis Mission Control. So with proximity operations coming up, first we will look for separation from the interim cryogenic propulsion stage. That is the stage that propelled us in the perigee raise maneuver and the apogee raise burn.
Amy, we have 20.8.101 post-BFS engage actions open on step 2.1, but we are taking no actions in that procedure. Moving on.
Copy, and I have a story on the right RHC when you're ready to hear it.
We'll call you in 2 minutes.
Standing by.
As we mentioned, the crew is...
Integrity, comm check from the Peltor headset connected to Seat 1 AIU.
Loud and clear, Victor. How me?
Happy the same, thank you.
This view coming live from Orion, now just 3 hours and 10 minutes since liftoff today from Kennedy Space Center. As you have heard, Mission Control Houston is go for the crew to conduct the proximity operations demonstration. Again, we will see the separation of the interim cryogenic propulsion stage coming up first in just under 12 minutes. As we saw when we had video of the crew on board, Victor Glover has now moved to Seat 1. He launched in Seat 2. He has switched places with Reed Wiseman. He is going to be, Victor Glover will be commanding and piloting this portion of the mission. He'll be flying the vehicle, and he has let us know he is going to put the communication system on voice activation. So he's going to be speaking nearly continuously for the next approximately hour and a half so that the ground team can hear crew feedback on what it's like to fly Orion, how it's like the simulator here on Earth, and how it might be different. During the proximity operations demonstration, Glover will use the translational and rotational hand controllers to command Orion, first doing a translation control checkout and roll control checkout. He will get a read of Orion's roll, pitch, and yaw from this commanding. We'll hear calls about targets and degrees of width. There is no rangefinder available between Orion and the interim cryogenic propulsion stage, so this crew is using other data, like how big the upper stage looks outside of the window or through a camera. So the degrees that you'll hear him call out are the width of the target on the screen that he is monitoring. That screen is going to be fed by the docking camera that was set up after launch. The target that he'll be reading initially is the entire ICPS itself. We'll be about 100 meters or 300 feet away from the ICPS. Those degrees are going to be reported as greater on the screen because it's a larger target.
Houston, can you just confirm that we have a gas introduction of some sort, nitrogen, I'm guessing?
Checking.
Again, we'll start with the ICPS itself being that target. As we get closer, the target switches.
Confirm O2 introduction in progress.
Integrity.
As we get closer to the ICPS conducting these maneuvers, the target that they will be reading back switches to the docking targets that are on the interim cryogenic propulsion stage, as if we were going to fly in and dock. Of course, this is a practice, essentially, for our future Artemis missions in which we will be docking to a lunar lander. Once the initial checkouts are complete, the crew will get a go to move in toward that forward target on the ICPS. They're going to brake at 75 meters, and again at 30 meters.
Okay, Reed, for the right RHC, it looks like it was a single event upset. We are now seeing all good channels. We did command a fitter reset from the ground. We do have a quick checkout that you could perform if you feel that you have time.
We are showing on right-hand controller, RHC pitch, channel 3, deselected.
And we expect that. For the checkout, you're going to confirm CSS is not selected and then do a full deflection positive pitch, then negative pitch.
Okay, so the right RHC is powered on, control stick steering is not selected, and you want a full negative pitch and a full positive pitch.
Affirm.
From C2, right RHC, here is a full negative pitch. It is now 0, and here comes a full positive.
Copy, we're following.
Right RHC is back to neutral, still show pitch channel 3 deselected.
Copy, that's a good checkout, and we'll do the reselection of the channel from the ground, and you are go for Orion 180 pitch ATP and Prox Ops FTO after set.
Outstanding. Picking up in step 1.3 is 13.100.
The crew just did a couple of tests with their hand controllers that they'll be using to command the spacecraft. Again, we expect to hear quite a lot of communication from them during this time period, so I'm going to front load you with a lot of information of what you can expect to hear. So initially, again, that target that they will be monitoring is the ICPS itself once we have undocked. And then as we move in closer, it becomes the docking target. The crew will fly all the way into 30 meters before, and they will break at 75 meters, braking again at 30 meters, and then arrive and hold at 10 meters away from the interim cryogenic propulsion stage. Victor Glover is going to conduct an attitude alignment and then move into the precision translation test and then the precision rotation test. They are exactly as they sound. These are small movements while closer to the ICPS, like we would need to make if we were docking. Of course, again, this is essentially a practice for our future Artemis missions in which Orion will need to dock to a lunar lander. Orion will then back away 20 meters from the ICPS for the ICPS to complete a thermal turn, setting it up for the next portion of the proximity operations, where the crew...
Less than 2 minutes for maneuver to SEP attitude.
Integrity copies.
Once that thermal turn is complete, the crew will approach the side docking target. Again, we're not docking today, but Glover will command Orion to hold at 15 meters from the ICPS. He'll then move into the precision translation test again, but this time with the side target, conducting multi-axis tests of Orion's yaw before maneuvering the spacecraft to its tail-to-sun configuration, which helps generate power through its solar arrays. Finally, the proximity operations demonstration will be complete, and Glover will initiate Orion's departure from the interim cryogenic propulsion stage. This is the upper stage separation burn and provides the separation we need between Orion and the ICPS. ICPS will then have its own deorbit burn over the Pacific Ocean following Orion's departure. Again, maneuvering to separation attitude coming up now in just about 40 seconds, and separation from the interim cryogenic propulsion stage coming up in 4 minutes and 25 seconds. We are now 3 hours and 18 minutes since liftoff. We expect to have views from the docking camera. This is new hardware on Artemis 2, and testing it out here helps us reduce the risk in using it for future missions. We'll be using this for proximity operations and our overnight demonstration tests as well. It remained stowed for ascent and was installed shortly thereafter. The plan is to keep it installed during the crew sleep period, but they will remove it during crew wake since it keeps the crew from observation and photography out of that window.
Houston, integrity Vox check from seat 1 on the Peltor headset.
Loud and clear.
Okay, I have you the same. Calls requesting a response will be prefaced with Houston. All other comm, no response required. Houston, how do you copy that?
We copy. We're ready.